Aloha, buenos dias. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. Coming through. This is October 16th, 2013, and we are approaching the lunar eclipse. Is coming on Friday. The moon is in Aries Thursday and Friday, and the eclipse is actually around 25 degrees. It's late Aries. Then it's going to move into Taurus, and by next week, Monday, it's in Gemini. In the meantime, yesterday, Mars went into the sign of Virgo, and it is opposing Neptune up there. You can see it in the chart that I put in here. And that's going to be effective at least for a week. As soon as it went into Virgo, it's exact, this weekend. Other aspects is just, Mercury is going retrograde next week. And this is what I really want to talk about, because it was in the beginning of the beginning of October, that Mercury went into Scorpio. It came by, joined with the north node of the moon, joined with Saturn, is now going to be stationary, retrograde. It's going back over Saturn, back over the node, back to 2 degrees or something, Scorpio. And then it's going to go direct 3 weeks from now, and it's going to go back over the north node of the moon, back over Saturn, really until, we're not free of this aspect until like November 25th. And it is, this is like a 6-week period of time. Mercury coming by at the initial start, and I've been talking about this aspect here of Saturn conjunct the north node in Scorpio for a while now. Mercury coming around is our left brain, our thinking, our ego. It's time to get practical, time to get real, time to get down to the basics, to the nitty-gritty. This Mars going into Virgo, it's time to wake up, get to work, put forth the effort to bring that dream of Neptune from Pisces down into focus, down into reality, down into our lives. The tendency can be, with Mars opposite Neptune, to want to not do Mars, but to escape. This is too much. I'm getting overwhelmed, and I want to get out of here. Pop a cold one, lose it, get lost, because it's really challenging. This is a super challenging time. And what is it a time of? It's a time of Scorpio, north node of the moon, conjunct Saturn in Scorpio, to unplug. Unplug the old programs, unplug the old conditioning, and that old program, that old conditioning goes very deep, socio-cultural, religious. It says that you've got a lot to fear. It's ego-based. I've got this sign in the background, caution. You are leaving an area protected by the lifeguard. It's so perfect. I'm out here on this public beach in Cocoa Beach. The guy drives up, drops off this sign, and this is just the message that we get. This is the message, caution. The unknown is dangerous. Okay, you are not protected. But let's face it, the protection a lot of times is illusion. That we have a government, here the government in the United States is shut down, that we have a big brother, that we have a father figure, that we have, a religion that's going to tell us what to do, and we're going to be, protected, and we're going to be okay, and we're going to succeed. This is all about control from the outside, and I want to encourage you to go past that sign. And going past that sign means waking up. You do need to be cautious. Yeah, this is a time where the decisions that we make are really important. If we look at some of the aspects that are happening through 2014, there's a lot of power plays that are going to be going on. I'm going to talk more about the Grand Cross that's happening through 2014. It's actually starting now. It already began with that last new moon. And all I can say is that it's time for us with this Uranus in Aries, this eclipse in Aries. It's a time of really being cautious and being careful about who you are listening to, who you are talking to, what you are talking about, what plans you are making. Mercury wants to navigate its way. It is our way of finding our direction in the now. It's the ruler of Gemini, which is the now, and it's not easy. And what the call is, Jupiter. Jupiter in Cancer. That is the path of quick evolution. That is the path of abundance, the path of prosperity. It's in the sign of Cancer, conjunct Black Moon Lilith still. Stay home. Unplug. I just was imagining, what if everyone declared bankruptcy? This is possible. This is a time where, the control mechanisms, the society, the religion, the external world, that external authority of Saturn is demanding, wanting, calling, pushing us for more and more and more. And this is the old paradigm of hierarchical external authority dictating so much of our personal choices and our personal lives. And so what we can say is this, new ideas, Mercury into Scorpio, our ideas are confronting and they're hitting all of the resistance, all of the blocks, all of the external authority, all of the demands, all of the expectations put onto us. And the big use is fear. Fear is ruled by the moon, yes? The ego. Jeffrey Green in Evolutionary Astrology says the moon is the ego, and the ego lives in separation. I need to obey, I need to be small, I need to be protected in order to live the life guard. The ego is the life guard, and this is just a time now where the lifeguard is looming over us. Don't go outside the ego. Don't go into the spirit realm. There's nothing beyond your job. There's nothing that, you're not going to make money if you are not in this system. You are not going to survive. You are not going to live without taking orders, without having some external authority dictate your schedule, your time, your life. Saturn is about financial security, and this is a time where it is a struggle to survive financially. There's boundaries, there's limits, there's all of these expectations and demands placed upon us from the outside. But what? Now we have this eclipse happening in Aries, this moon coming through Aries. It joins with Uranus Thursday before we have this eclipse. And this is a time of breaking free, breaking out, breaking loose. So I encourage you to, over this 6-week period of time, or this 2-month period of time of October and November, be careful, be cautious, make plans that don't so much rely upon the external support. It's time to become self-sufficient. It's time to choose and pick our friends very carefully. Mercury is friends, North node of the moon is new friends, new community, yes, from past lives. The nodes have to do with people that we have brought along, people that we have met before. It is a time of establishing new karmic relationships and breaking old, limiting relationships. So it's not a time for sleeping, it's not a time for hiding, it is a time of confronting, and with great caution, with great awareness, with great clarity, moving through. And this is this whole thing that I want to talk about, trust. Trust. In order for commerce to happen, in order for business to happen, in order for relationship to happen, there's got to be trust. And Saturn, Mercury is a time of seriously, with great sobriety and great caution, choosing those who we can trust and moving into committed contracts and establishing businesses and relationships that will be very long lasting over the future times, and letting go, dying to the old external forms of security, financial, emotional, sexual, otherwise. This Uranus is really calling us to break out and break free. And it's just not so simple. It's not so easy. It's going to take some drastic steps, and what we're going to see now is, Scorpio rules intensity. It's like we are getting squeezed. We need to decide. We need to make choices when it comes to this intensity. As we get squeezed, we get pressured to do things, to say things. Watch yourself. It's called the Freudian slip. When things are really intense and you don't have time to think and you're not being diplomatic or tactful, things will slip out. I'm sick of this. You want to listen to those Freudian slips. Listen to your unconscious kind of breaking through the ego into who I really am and what I really want and what's really valuable. And you're going to find that these deep feelings, these deep emotions are going to lead you away or want you to break out of the jail cell, out of the bird cage. It is time to fly free. It's time to see through the illusion of security that has been offered to us through so many institutions, corporations, and communities, and really make this new paradigm happen. It could be seen as rebellion. I prefer revolution. The challenge here is Mercury-Saturn is negative thinking. It's actually reflection and doing the serious thinking that needs to be done. The good part about it is objective. Saturn is objective. It's the elder. It's mature thinking. And that mature thinking is going to point out what's missing, what's lacking, what's wrong. We don't want to have our spirit, yes, our eternal self, that 90% of ourself, get dragged down by the ego thinking that says this is wrong, this is bad, this is whatever. But rather, use the trine to Neptune, the grand trine down to Lilith, and tap into yourself for a new dream, a new life, a new way, and see that all this too shall pass, that so many things in this temporal, time-space world are not secure and they don't last forever. and that you have to tap into Neptune in Pisces, Chiron in Pisces, and heal that wound of separation from source through meditation, through whatever means you use to access your intuition, your imagination, and go beyond. Don't let yourself get dragged down into depression, into despair, into it's never going to work. Do that Mars in Virgo. Take the effort, make the break, pull out your sword and cut the cords, and cautiously go beyond where the lifeguard is watching. Go out into the cosmos, which is also in with Jupiter and Lilith and Cancer, into your emotions, into your feelings, into your needs. Listen to your inner child. The big critic, the father figure, the old external authorities are going to be looming, but listen to the inner child. The wisdom of your intuition knows the next step. Inner trust. Very simple mantra this week. When I feel run over, I must take command and lead my forces to the promised land. We can feel defensive, we can feel inadequate, we can feel powerless by these forces, the taxes, the governments, the authorities, the corporations that are beyond our control. Or we can unplug. We can break out, break free, get your little nest egg, do your little bankruptcy, get out of the illusion of security and into the truth of your infinite power and the infinite power of your mind, and go to the promised land. When I feel run over, I must take command and lead my forces to the promised land. Namaste, aloha, so much love and luck.